Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Fairy Fountain Podcast. Today, we're going to be discussing Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which is still a very recent game, just came out only a couple of weeks ago at this point, and it's kind of taken the world by storm. It's a great game, it's beautiful, we're going to talk about it today, and specifically, we're going to be talking about the best of Mario Wonder, and there's a lot there, and also the worst of Mario Wonder. And I want to preface this episode by saying this game is wonderful, as the name implies, and it's so high quality, there's really not much that's bad about it at all. It's like such a perfect game that even the worst of it are like kind of small minor things, or just things that are missing, because what's there is really solid. But let's get right into this discussion about the best and worst of Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Also, my name is Caden, and I'll be your host. So, of course, we're going to be starting off with the best of Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and I just want to let you all know that there will be full discussion of everything in this game. So there's your spoiler warning. If you don't want any spoilers, then you can click off now. I don't think that what I'm going to talk about today will ruin your experience, though, if you choose to keep listening. But we will jump right into it. So I think we should touch on the sort of history of 2D Mario and why Mario Wonder was such a good shakeup that the series needed. So, of course, we had the original Super Mario Bros. Game, which was followed up with the Lost Levels, Super Mario Bros. 2, Super Mario Bros. 3. These games are all on the NES, so that was where it was at, like, its biggest big, and it was very popular, took the world by storm. Everyone's talking about Super Mario Bros. That's where you get the overworld theme, the underground theme, the flagpole, everything comes from there. Then, on the Super Nintendo, on the SNES, we got Super Mario World. That was, before Wonder, my favorite Mario game. It's the one I grew up playing the most, but I played the Game Boy Advance version of it. That's the one that my older sister had, and that's the one that I would play. So that game is incredible. That introduced, it reiterated on the formula set in the first Super Mario Bros. Game, but it introduced a lot of new things, like bonus levels, minigame houses. I mean, Mario World and Super Mario Bros. 3 did this. The credit goes to those two games mainly. And in Mario World, we saw lots of new power-ups. We saw the Ghost House levels, which are the haunted themed ones that are in like every world. It introduced a lot of classic things. It introduced Yoshi. Beautiful game. Great game. Super Mario World, wonderful game. And from there on out, we didn't really see another 2D Mario game until New Super Mario Bros. DS, I believe. And of course, we did have like the Game Boy games somewhere in between there, Mario Land, but those are mainline Mario 2D games, but a lot of people don't include them. But they were there, and they introduced lots of cool new ideas, new power-ups and such, but we saw the new Super Mario Bros. Series in 2006, I believe, with New Super Mario Bros. DS. That game sought to bring back 2D Mario for the first time in a long time in a big way. It was a very, very great game. It had fun power-ups, had the mini mushroom, it had the shell power-up where Mario could like slide around. Super cool bosses. It was just like a fresh coat of paint on the classic Super Mario Bros. Games. 2D side-scrolling at its best. Then after that, we got New Super Mario Bros. For the Wii, which was essentially just a better version of the DS game. Still very good, had better multiplayer. It was like a family game. It had the propeller suit. Lots of iconic things in that game. Also a wonderful game. Great game. Did essentially the same thing as New Super Mario Bros. DS, but better quality. It was on the Wii. It was better for multiplayer. But essentially the same thing, but everyone still loved it. Then I believe what came next was New Super Mario Bros. 2 on the 3DS, and this one is kind of a stinker. So it's still a really solid game, good platforming, but its gimmick around coins is really bizarre and weird. The music isn't as good. It feels like it was starting to lose its soul, because this game was also New Super Mario Bros. It was the same styles on the DS, same styles on the Wii. The level theming started to feel the same. The art style was still exactly the same. And people at this point, people are starting to get a little sick of it. Still a solid game. Still like a very fun platformer though. And then we got to the Wii U, and we had New Super Mario Bros. Wii U and New Super Luigi U. And then eventually those got ported to the Switch and New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. These games are really fun. They're really great games, New Super Mario Bros. U and New Super Luigi U. Very fun 2D platforming Marios. Very high quality level design. I mean, it's still the same art style we've been using since 2006, but it looks good. It's in HD. It's pretty. They added Baby Yoshis. It's not a bad game at all, but people were really fatigued by how similar the games had looked for like the past nearly 20 years. Nowadays, like lately, I mean, at the time it wasn't as long in like 2012, 2013, but it didn't feel like they were reiterating and changing enough. It felt like they were just doing what they knew worked and doing it again, not adding anything else, not building off of it, just doing it again in higher quality. So people were getting fatigued, and that was the state of 2D Mario. So we didn't really see a new 2D Super Mario Bros. Game since like 2012. 2013, that was the last time. We did get a port of New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe in 2019, I believe. Early 2019, maybe 2018, if I recall correctly, but I believe it was 2019. But that doesn't count because it was a port. Same game again. So people were fatigued. We needed something fresh. They took a long break in... It's been 10 years. In 2023, we finally got this return to 2D Mario in Super Mario Bros. Wonder. And before Super Mario Wonder came out, people were really missing 2D Mario. There's nothing quite like booting up a 2D Mario game and just playing through all the levels, getting all the power-ups, hearing the music. So people were missing it, but nobody wanted to return to new Super Mario Bros. Style. Rumors started to surface, probably like 2020, 2021, 2022. And then we finally got the announcement earlier this year, and it was a quick turnaround because this game was announced, I believe, in the June Direct. So it had only been like, I don't know, it was like 4 months from announcement to release, and that was a perfect hype cycle. In the moment they showed this game off, everyone was taken away by how beautiful it looked. The visuals are great. There's so much personality in that art style. If Mario goes through a pipe, he grabs his cap. It flies off his head and he grabs his cap. He reaches through just his arm out, pulls it in with him. The elephant power-up, super freaking cool. It's so whimsical. It has these talking flowers, which we'll talk about again later. So whimsical, so magical, looked great. And the game came out and everyone spent a couple of weeks with it. I've basically completed it in that amount of time, even the special world, and that's where we'll be talking about the best and the worst of it today. So, the best of Mario Wonder. Number 1, the refreshing and beautiful art style, and it's fun, fluid, and gorgeous in every way. So, like I said before, the just amount of charm and the facial expressions of the characters in this game is incredible. And the background art, beautiful, gorgeous. It could work as any lock screen for any device. They did such a great overhaul of what we think a 2D Mario game looks like here. I love the way it looks. It does remind me of Super Mario World, and it reminds me of the old 2D artworks that they would use to promote Mario games in the 90s. It's incredible to see Mario like this. It oozes personality everywhere. It doesn't feel boring. There's always something to look at. It's great. Another great thing about this game, Peach is not a damsel in distress. She's part of the playable crew. They didn't do another story where Peach got kidnapped like they did in like every new Super Mario Bros. Game. And that is lovely to see. I love that Peach is playable in a mainline 2D Mario again, because the last time that happened was Super Mario Bros. 2. And it's been a long time since then. Love that game, but she deserves to have her playable role, especially after the Mario movie. Peach is in a new limelight. She's getting her own game in Princess Peach Showtime in a couple of months. She deserves to be playable, and here she is, and it's so cool to see her with all of her power-ups. Like, I love Princess Peach. I played as her, not as much as Daisy. Oh, spoilers, welcome Daisy. We'll touch on that next. But it's really cool to see the princess with the power-ups like that. And since I spoiled it before, the next best part of Mario Wonder, there's so many playable characters, and welcome Daisy. I love that they did this. There's never been so many playable characters in a Mario game like this before. It was really refreshing to see. There's Mario, there's Luigi, of course the two staples, the twin brothers. They're still their same size. Mario's shorter, Luigi's taller, but they look great in this new art style. And then we've got Yellow Toad and Blue Toad, the classics from the Wii and DS games. I love playing as these two. They're my favorites, I think. And then Toadette, who's recently come into the limelight a lot more these past few years, which is great. I do love Toadette. The Toads are my favorite characters in the Mario series. And then after Toadette, we've got Princess Peach, like I said before, and Daisy. And I believe this is the first time ever Daisy's been playable in a mainline Mario game, which is so awesome to see. They didn't have to do that. They could have just stuck to Mario and the Toads, like they've done in the past. But they chose to add more characters, which means there's so many more power-up designs. So you get to see Mario, Luigi, the Toads, Peach, and Daisy as their bubble forms, where they get alternate colors, which is so cute. Their drill forms, where they get like different dresses or different overalls, and their elephant forms. It's really amazing to see them all in all these different forms. The next best thing is the new voice cast. So it was announced maybe August or July that Charles Martinet, who's been voicing Mario since Mario 64, is retiring and stepping down as the voice of Mario. He did get a new role at Nintendo called the Super Mario Ambassador. We don't know what that means. I would interpret that as like Nintendo flies Charles out to help with promotion of games and celebrate with the fans, and he's there to like do like events like they do at Nintendo New York probably, but we don't know what it means to be a Mario Ambassador yet. We'll see soon what exactly is the Mario Ambassador. We don't know, but that's Charles Martinet. He's still around. Everyone was distraught that he was retiring, but he's getting older, and maybe it was a mutual thing. I'm not really sure. And we learned that Kevin Afghani is the new voice actor for Mario and Luigi. And he killed it. They sound great. They sound just like they used to, but with a little more gusto, a little more energy, and I think it's beautiful and I love it. I will never, ever, ever forget Charles Martinet. He's done so much. He's a wonderful human being. But I'm really happy to welcome Kevin Afghani to the new cast of Mario. He's going to have a lot of work cut out there for him, and we're going to be hearing a lot more of him in the next coming years, and I'm super excited for it because he really killed it. He captured their energy perfectly. And I love that Nintendo didn't go out there and hire a big name voice actor. Kevin Afghani hasn't worked on that much in the games industry before, but they recognized his talent, and I love that they did that because it goes to show that you don't need to be a big, well-known name in order to get the gig. And this is a huge gig, and he got it, and I'm so happy for him, and he's killing it, and I can't wait to see what else he does. He's also the voice of Wario. That just came out because WarioWare Move It just released a couple days ago. So he is doing great, and I believe the voice actor for Princess Daisy and maybe Peach were recast too. And so was Nabbit. All of these new people in the cast are killing it, and I'm so happy for them. They're doing great. Can't wait to hear more from them. And speaking of voices, the next best thing I want to touch on in Mario Bros. Wonder are the freaking talking flowers. They're incredible. So ever since that first trailer we got back in June, where Mario runs by a flower and it's like, "Hi, bye." Well, that Goomba looks so peaceful. Oh, all those voice lines, it took the world by storm, and everyone thought they were going to be annoying, but they're not. They're really the star of the show. I would never turn them off. You can turn them off in the settings, but they're in every single level. And as you jump around and run by them, they react to what you do, or they give you little hints. And it's super cute. Like, I really like them. I think they're probably one of my favorite parts about this game. And I really want them to be in every 2D Mario. Like, even Mario Kart. I think it would be so funny. Like, in the next Mario Kart game, like, every lap, and they're like, 1 lap left. This is the last one. Like, they're just so funny. Their humor is a little bit, like, middle school, maybe, is how I would describe it. But it makes it even funnier. And they're not annoying, and they're not cringy. They're great. And they even react to the Wonder events, which are another wonderful thing in this game. So wonder events take place in these levels when you touch the Wonder Flower. And that's where things get wacky and weird. So there will be like certain times where you touch it and the warp pipes start moving and wiggling like worms, or there's one where it changes the perspective. And it's like, instead of playing a 2D side scroller like left to right movement, you're moving as if we're playing like a top down, maybe 2D Zelda game. So it's like controlling Link in A Link to the Past or Mario and Luigi in the Mario and Luigi series. So think like Superstar Saga, Bowser's Inside Story, Partners in Time. It's like that. And it's really freaking cool every time one of these happens because they change things so much. It's part of why this game feels so refreshing and fun to play. It's just so much pure fun. There's one where if you touch the Wonder Flower, your character will turn into a Goomba and you have to like try and hide from these giant monsters that eat Goombas. And it's just so full of personality. So many great Wonder effects. And I might talk about those at some point in another episode, but the talking flowers, they also react to those Wonder events. They'll be like, "What's happening? Well, that was weird." And then sometimes they'll say like little random comments like, "Think you're missing something," and that like hints to you that you missed a coin or you missed a Wonder Seed somewhere and you need to go back. They're really fun. Like, they're great. I'm so happy that Nintendo decided to add these bizarre talking flowers. The next best thing in Mario Wonder are how it returns to classics. So some staple classics from previous 2D Mario games. So there are now secret level exits in a lot of the levels in this game. So not just the one flagpole at the end of the level that takes you back to the world map, but there's secret ones. And this was a thing in Mario World. I can't quite remember if they did it in like New Super Mario Bros. DS or Wii, but it's so fun to see that they're here and you can unlock special secret levels after that. Like there's sometimes where there's 2 flagpoles in a level. Very, very cool. There's also these break levels that they added. So there'll be like a little music room where your characters can run along those music note blocks and you have to jump up and collect as many coins as you can. Those are great. Those are levels that they did in Super Mario World. And it just really makes you feel like you're playing another personality-filled Mario game again. There's also these Find It levels that are really cool. So there's these like 5 tokens hidden throughout a level in like invisible blocks or hidden off screen, and you need to find them. And you can play online with a group of 4 other people and work together to help find all of these little coins in order to get the star. And not the star, in order to get the Wonder Seed, excuse me. But it's really fun, and I'll touch more on online play later on. But those break levels are really cool. There's also these badge challenges that are great. So badges are in this game. They give you basically another ability. So if you equip the parachute cap badge, you can glide with your cap, and it makes movement a little easier. There's one where there's like a grappling vine, and you can shoot out a little piranha plant shaped vine. It'll pull you over to the edge of a wall, like the hook shot in Zelda. Or there's some that are like called Jet Run, and Mario will constantly be running. He will never slow down. Those are pretty cool. Yeah, so badge challenges are little levels where you can earn those badges by completing the challenges. And it locks you to that badge, but they're a lot of fun. They're great fun there. Next up, we'll talk about how there's some like refreshing new world themes here. So usually you see snow world, grass world, fire worlds. Sometimes there's like a cloud world and a water world in Mario games, but they added some clever picks here. So there's Shining Falls, there's the Fungi Mines, and there's the Petal Isles. And these are all like really unique world themes. Shining Falls is like a golden waterfall, sort of like angular gem-like world, which is super cool to see. There's the Fungi Mines, which are like a swampy mining facility area, which is very nice. And then there's the Petal Isles, which is like a central hub world, with like a lot of like beachy themes there, and that's not too common. It's not a water world, it's like a beach world. So those were really nice to see. Another cool thing that they did here is add little levels spread here and throughout, with story in them. So there's one where there's a master poplin, which is like a special poplin that follows you around through the levels in Shining Falls, and he's supposed to be some sort of like a skilled fighter, and he like teaches you his moves through these challenges, and it's cool to have him follow you around and see his dialogue. And then there's also a level where you need to rescue a mining team in the fungi mines, and that's pretty cool too, and they like thank you, and you can see them all run off screen. So that doesn't normally happen in these games, and it's pretty cool to see story within a level. Next up is the wonderful new power-ups they added. So if you watch the trailers, you've definitely seen these before. There's elephant power-up, which is very cool. You can swing your trunk, you can fill your trunk with water, you can throw water around, you can break blocks, and you become huge. So like when you go up and down warp pipes, kind of got to squeeze through. Very cute power-up. I never would have expected it. I really like this one. There's the drill ability, which gives you a drill cap, and you can drill into the ceiling, you can drill into the ground and cross through small gaps, or you can just use your drill cap to like knock out enemies. I think this one's my favorite. I love the drill ability. The drill power-up is super cool, super unique, and it makes movement so fun and fluid. There's also the bubble power-up. Bubble allows you to blow bubbles, and they'll encapsulate and defeat enemies for you, or you can blow a bubble and jump off the top of it, so it gives you another boost. There's a lot you can do with that one. Bubble's pretty cool too. Another thing I love about this game is how it plays with the foreground and background of levels. So there will be certain segments where you can play in the background of a level. Like you'll see a little segment of blocks or coins in the back, and eventually you can find a pipe. And if you go through it, it allows you to go to that section of the level. Or you can also do it where like it puts you in the foreground. So like you're in front of where you were playing before. It's kind of complicated to explain now, but it's really fun and unique when you like see it play out. All right, next up, one of my favorite things about Mario Wonder are the inclusion of the Yoshis and Nabbit. So there's a bunch of different colors of Yoshi that you can play as, and Yoshi controls just like you expect he would. He has his flutter jump, he can swallow enemies and spit them out. He doesn't take damage though, and neither does Nabbit, but it's really cool to see these two guys here because you never really get to control them yourself. I don't think you ever have been able to. Nabbit you could play as before, but not Yoshi. And you can also have other players on your team jump on you as Yoshi, and you can carry them around and flutter jump with them, which is really cool. Nabbit doesn't take any damage, and I think he might run a little faster than the other characters. I'm not sure though. Nabbit's really cool. I'm glad he's kind of like forming a place in the main Mario cast. It's not too good that they made these characters locked to easy mode, but I honestly don't think it's such a bad thing because you can just play as one of the other characters if you don't want to play in easy mode, and that's what I did for most of the levels. But I know like my younger brothers, when I played this game with them, they like to use the Yoshis and the Nabbit, and I think it actually works really well. It definitely would have been better, though, if they had made it a toggle switch so that any character could have easy mode. That way they didn't need to make it so that Yoshi and Nabbit can't take damage. Another thing that I love about Super Mario Wonder are how challenging the special world levels are. So there's a special world in this game, and the levels there are really tough. There's definitely been some times where I had to like take a break, catch my breath, and think of better ways to go at it because these levels are tough. A lot of the times it'll give you a wonder event, and instead of making it easier, it makes things a lot harder. There's one where you have to play as a Goomba and avoid a bunch of thwomps, and it's kind of tough because Goombas move slow. When you turn as a Goomba for the wonder event, it's really hard to walk around. But they're really unique levels, and especially that very last level, I believe it's called the Wonder Gauntlet. That level was tough. It took me about 50 lives, and I got close every time, but I was also trying to collect the big purple coins, which are the replacement for star coins. So I had to keep dying trying to get all of them. But that level is so fun, very challenging. Another thing I love about Mario Wonder are the standees. So standees are something you can place by crouching down and pressing the X button. And if you leave a standee in a level, another player that plays that level on their own game can run into your standee. Running by it will earn you like friendship points, and you'll have a big number over your head for online play. And if you get knocked out in a level, you can turn into a little ghost, and if you come into contact with somebody else's standee, it'll bring you back. And you can do the same thing with the actual bodies of player characters when you're playing with them online. But standees do the same thing. They'll bring you back if you die. That's pretty cool because it kind of leaves like a like a sense of other people are here playing with you too, and you can leave like a standee in a secret area, or you can leave it like on top of a secret entrance to help point people in the right direction. Standees are sort of like a gamble though. You can buy them at Poplin shops, and you're not sure which one you're gonna get. There's a shop in the special world where you can choose a character to get a standee for, but it's still random. There's not many to collect though. Each character might have 10, so it's not like a super big deal. You should get them all fast enough, but you can unlock different poses for standees. So say there's one where Mario's jumping, there's one where he's in his fire form, and so on. Standees are pretty cool though. They feel like right at place in 2D Mario. It's kind of hard to believe they were never here before. Next up is the incredible online play integration. We've never seen online play like this before. It feels so fluid and natural, and there were so many times I was blown away at how well it works. So you can just open the settings or walk up to one of these little Wi-Fi stands in the overworld and turn on Wi-Fi. And when you go into a level, you can play at the same time as 4 other people. You can play with your friends or randoms, and most of the time I did it with random players. And there will be like these little sort of silhouettes. You can still see them, but they're really opaque versions of the other players, but they're playing in real time. And if you come close enough to them and interact with them, they'll like come into like full view. So it's like they're playing with you and couch co-op, but if they run away from you, they'll kind of dissipate again. I like this a lot because it makes it so that the other players can't get in the way of what you need to see. Like, it never really felt like I was confusing who I'm playing as with a different person and their playable character. And I think it worked really well. And there were so many times where I was like crouching up and down to try to communicate with somebody and emoting, which is another thing you can do in this game by pressing X. There's like a smiley emo, a music note, super cute. And there were so many times that I worked together with another player, especially in those find it levels, to find these hidden coins, and it just works so well. Like, I love playing online. I think I played through every level online, and it really made some of the more difficult wonder challenges a lot easier because the other people could bring me back to life if I died, and they could do the same thing for me if we got knocked out in the game. Alright, with all of that being said, we will touch on the worst of Mario Wonder. And like I said before, the game is so great that there's not a lot here. It's just like when there's a game this good, there's just some sort of things that they just left out, and that's all. The first thing I'll touch on again is Yoshi and Nabbit. And I loved their inclusion, but like I said before, an easy mode switch would have been the better route, like so that any character could be easy mode, and if you wanted to play as Yoshi or Nabbit, you could still take damage. Locking easy mode to a whole character kind of makes it so that less people will play as that character, because most people want to play it like a decent challenge for Mario games. One thing I didn't really love is the Poplin houses in this game. So Poplins are like the replacement for your general Toads in the usual Mario games. There's Poplin houses, and in past Mario games, there were Toad houses. And when you went into a Toad house, there was a mini game to play. You had to do a matching game, and you could earn yourself a power-up. Or there was a chest game. You had to pick a chest to see what power-up you got. Poplin houses in Mario Wonder have nothing. There's never a playable segment. You go in, talk to a Poplin, they're like, I really appreciate you helping us, and they give you a Wonder Seed for free. No minigame or anything. And they're really cute. I love the Poplins. They're adorable. And it's nice that they give you a Wonder Seed, but why is there no minigame? No power-up chest, no matching game? That's like what they did in the past games with the Toad houses. It just kind of makes you wish that there was a little something more to it. It feels way too simple. But they're still cute, and I'm glad they're there. Next up is the relatively small power-up list. That's not something that's too great about this game. Mario Wonder, I think, has the smallest number of power-ups. So there's the power-up mushroom, the super mushroom, that makes small Mario big. Been in every game. No transformative properties. There's the fire flower, which has been in most every 2D Mario game. Works just the same. Mario gets his fire outfit on and he can throw fireballs. Very cool. I'm glad it's back. You can't really have a Mario game without it. Then there's the elephant power-up, which is one of the big new ones. Allows you to transform into an elephant, destroy blocks, use your trunk. Very, very cool. Bubble power, like I said before, blow bubbles, trap enemies, and the drill power-up, which allows you to drill into the ground. But that's it. There's still the superstar, but the superstar and the mushroom aren't like they've been in every game. They're not transform power-ups. So there's only 3. And I think there's 4, including the Fire Flower. And I think that's the lowest number there's ever been in a Mario game. Like, I know that in New Super Mario Bros. DS, there was the Super Mushroom, the Star, the Mini Mushroom, the Shell power-up. There was the Mega Mushroom and the Fire Flower. So we're already at more there. And in the Wii games, there was the Penguin Suit, Propeller Suit. There was the Super Mushroom, Superstar, Fire Flower, Ice Flower. So yeah, I think we're just missing one. I think even one more power-up would have been a good inclusion. But they did do a really good job in Mario Wonder, making it feel like they're all special. Drill power-up feels special. The levels designed for it are great. Bubble is really cool. It's cool that you can use bubbles as a platform. And the elephant is just super OP, big melee power-up. So they did make these really unique and really full of personality, the power-ups that are here. So I don't know, it's kind of a trade-off, not too bad. Next up are the boss battles. I think boss battles in this game are where the game really does take a hit. I feel like I would rate this game like a 9.9 out of 10 if the boss battles were a little better. So there's only 2 or 3 boss battles in this game other than the big final one, and they're all against Bowser Jr. And it really sucks because we know that 2D Mario can have good boss fights. Like, in Mario World, even the Koopaling boss fights were better than this. The Bowser Jr. fights are really cool. They're fun. He does cool things with wonder effects, and they make really good use of platforming. And, there's some where you have to swim. There's some where the water changes, and it, ends up being on the roof, and you have to jump into it to avoid attacks. So they're really unique and fun, but the fact that they're all against Bowser Jr. really stinks. In Mario DS, you could battle, there was a Monty Mole in a tank, giant bloopers. There was unique boss fights, and that's what I wish was in here, because this game is so full of charm everywhere else, but the boss fights, there's nothing charmful. It's just Bowser Jr. I mean, he looks cool, he gets a new wonder-powered design, but I really feel like they could have done something cooler. Especially with these new power-ups, there could have been, some elephant to fight, or some giant jelly. There's a wonder effect where Mario turns into a jelly, and they could have done some really cool things, but they kind of played it safe. Another thing on that note is there's, only 3 castle levels. The castle levels are a little samey, and there's only 3 of them. In the previous games, there was a castle in each world, and that's not the case here. And they're good, the ones that are there. I just wish we got more of them, because castle levels are really cool, really thematic, really fun. I just wish there was more. Also, there's only 1 ghost house in this game. I mean, I've played every level, and there's just 1 ghost house. It was so atmospheric and so cool. King Boo was in it. Loved that level. It had, the Boo sing a musical number, like it did with the piranha plants earlier in this game, but there was only 1. And in Mario World, there was at least 1, sometimes 2 in each world, and I just really wish they did that for this game. The Ghost House deserves better. It should have appeared more than once. They're such fun levels. And then the last thing is this game shorter than most 2D Marios, or is that just a feeling I have? Because I've almost 100% completed it, and it's been 15 hours. And I did look it up to try to remind myself, and I guess that most all the Mario games are around 20 hours to complete, but Mario Wonder's a little on the shorter side. And I think that as I've gotten better at platforming, as I've gotten older, it doesn't take me as long. I don't die as much. I'm sure in Mario Bros. DS, it took me 40 hours to complete because I wasn't as strong at platformers as I am now. But you know what? I'll take the trade-off. For a game that's as high quality as this, it doesn't need to be 50 hours plus. 20 perfect, really good quality hours, like what this game gave us with, is more than enough, and I'm super appreciative of that. It was a great game, and those are really the only bad things I have to say about it. It's basically I just wish they had gone a little further. I wished the Ghost House was so good, I just wish there was more of it. The boss battles against Bowser Jr. were so good, I just wish there were other bosses to fight at that same quality. The Poplin houses were so cute and charming, I wish they did a little more. I wish they gave the Poplins a nice little minigame. That's really about it. Other than that, the game is absolutely incredible, and I hope you're all having fun playing it too. There's just so much that's good about it. The online play is perfect, and I'm going to go back to it and play it for a little while, and I've loved playing it with my little siblings through and through. It's a really fun game, and my favorite levels, I'm going to do an episode on that, I think. My favorite levels and badges and characters, but it's great, and I think that my favorite music in this game comes from the Fungi Mines. I'll probably play it in the background for this video. Some of the music in this game was really good. It's just such a great game. It's so good to have it be like this return to the formula that Super Mario World brought, but with more personality. It's just wonderful. You guys, I hope you are doing well. Take care. It's getting colder, so stay warm, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye-bye.